Hello, friends. Without a shadow of doubt, 2024 has been a groundbreaking year for the carnivore diet, filled with extraordinary revelations, powerful research, and life-changing insights. From uncovering hidden truths in nearly century-old trials to breaking down the latest scientific studies, this year has certainly reshaped how we understand and approach this incredible lifestyle. Today, in this ultimate 2024 compilation, we bring together the most impactful moments from our channel this entire year, covering everything from the historic 1928 Steffanson carnivore trial, which first proved the power of an all-meat diet, to newly discovered health benefits that modern science is just starting to unravel. We'll also dive deep into the essential steps for starting and mastering the carnivore diet, reveal the deadly mistakes to avoid that could derail our progress, and share advanced tips from the very best experts to supercharge our results and health outcomes. And that's not all. This year also saw the rise of a sinister agenda aimed at derailing the carnivore movement. We'll expose Bill Gates's controversial and evil projects, dissect the dark motives behind the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, and unveil how big tech colluded with big food and big pharma to threaten the very foundation of real, wholesome nutrition. And we have something even more for you, lined up till the very end. Friends, this is not just a collection of some high-performing videos. Rather, it's a complete guide to unlocking the true healing potential of the mighty carnivore diet. Whether you're looking to heal untreatable chronic conditions, boost the lost energy, or achieve peak performance, this compilation is packed with everything we need to know to succeed on our health journey. Stay with us. We don't want you to regret missing on this crucial info. Here we go. Starting off with something really special on our channel this year, which got an immediate reaction video from Dr. Eric Westman.
The 1929 all-meat clinical trial, a story of suppressed truth about the carnivore diet. Well, friends, it is a pity that for decades, the conventional wisdom surrounding our nutrition has been dictated by big food and big pharma, pushing agendas that serve their interests rather than the health of the people. While chronic diseases such as diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and cancer rise to epidemic levels, the average person is encouraged to follow a plant-based diet, loaded with grains, fruits, vegetables, and processed foods that only exacerbate these issues. Yet, hidden in the annals of medical history is a 1929 clinical trial that provides evidence directly opposing the mainstream dietary dogma. The study, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, followed Arctic explorer Vilhjalmur Steffanson and fellow adventurer Karsten Andersen, who lived on an all-meat diet for an entire year under strict medical supervision. Their experiment provides not only a key piece of scientific evidence, but an irrefutable validation of the carnivore diet that it can rapidly lead to optimal health. The results were so groundbreaking yet threatening to the food and pharmaceutical industries that the trial was essentially censored from the available media. But today, 100 years later, this study has come out as a historical lighthouse, guiding those of us seeking the truth about nutrition back to our evolutionary roots. Now, before diving into the details of this landmark study, it's essential to understand the context and key figure behind it, Vilhjalmur Steffanson. Steffanson was a seasoned Arctic explorer and ethnologist, best known for his time spent living among the Inuit people. From 1906 to 1918, Steffanson immersed himself in the Inuit way of life, adopting their diet, which was primarily composed of meat, fat, and virtually no plant matter. His observations were eye-opening. The Inuit, who consumed almost no fruits, vegetables, or grains, appeared to be in peak physical condition, exhibiting robust health, unparalleled strength, and resilience to the chronic diseases that plagued Western populations at the time, including scurvy, heart disease, and diabetes, despite subsisting on what was considered an unbalanced diet according to modern standards. To Steffanson's utter surprise, his first-hand experience contradicted the mainstream narrative that plant-based foods were essential for human health. His claims that humans could survive, and even thrive, on an all-meat diet were met with skepticism and outright hostility from the medical and nutritional establishments. To prove his point, Steffanson willingly subjected himself to a year-long clinical trial to demonstrate under the strictest scientific conditions that a diet of meat alone was not only sustainable but optimal for our health. Let's now cut into the details of the historic clinical trial, a rigorously controlled experiment. In an effort to dispel the criticism and provide irrefutable proof of his claims, Steffanson volunteered to submit himself to a year-long clinical trial, conducted under the most rigorous conditions. The 1929 clinical trial was conducted at Bellevue Hospital, a reputable medical institution known for its dietary research. The experiment was designed to scrutinize Steffanson's claims rigorously. Along with fellow Arctic explorer Carsten Andersen, Steffanson agreed to eat nothing but meat for an entire year while being closely monitored by a team of doctors, including Dr. Clarence Lieb and Dr. Eugene Dubois, both respected experts in metabolic research. For the first 3 months, Steffanson and Andersen were confined to the hospital, where their diet was strictly monitored. Every bite of food they consumed was weighed, their vital signs and blood markers were regularly tested, and their overall health was meticulously recorded. After this initial period, they were allowed to continue their diet outside the hospital, but still remained under medical supervision. The diet was simple. It consisted exclusively of animal products, primarily beef, lamb, and pork, with occasional organ meats like liver and kidneys. This was not a diet of lean meats. Instead, it was a high-fat, moderate protein regimen that closely mirrored the diet of the Inuit. Steffanson had noted that the Inuit consumed large amounts of fat and only moderate amounts of protein, a crucial balance to avoid the condition known as rabbit starvation, a state of malnutrition caused by consuming too much protein without enough fat to provide energy. Now, coming to the big question that is floating in the minds of us all. What were the results of this study? What made everyone stop and wonder, what's going on here? Let's find out. Well, friends, the results of the year-long experiment were astonishing. Despite the medical community's predictions of malnutrition, disease, and organ failure, Steffanson and Andersen remained in excellent health. There was no trace of nutritional deficiencies, cardiovascular problems, or kidney issues. In fact, their overall health metrics improved in many areas. All the myths related to meat consumption and the key health markers were pretty much bunked after this study. Let's have a look. Myth 1. Vitamin deficiencies are inevitable without plant foods. One of the primary concerns of the researchers was that a diet composed entirely of meat would result in vitamin deficiencies, particularly vitamin C. After all, vitamin C was thought to be available only from fruits and vegetables, and its absence in the diet was known to cause scurvy, a disease that plagued sailors and explorers who lacked access to fresh produce during long sea voyages. Yet neither Steffanson nor Andersen developed scurvy during the year-long trial. This finding alone was monumental. It suggested that fresh meat, particularly organ meats, contains enough vitamin C to prevent deficiency, even in the absence of plant foods. While the exact vitamin C content in meat may be lower than in fruits, the body's requirements for this nutrient appear to be dramatically reduced when one eliminates carbohydrates from the diet. The low-carb, high-fat carnivore diet likely lowers the body's oxidative stress, reducing the need for large amounts of vitamin C, which is primarily involved in protecting against oxidative damage. This directly refutes the argument that a plant-based diet is necessary to provide essential nutrients like vitamin C. The results suggest that when the human body is in its natural fat-burning state, it requires fewer antioxidants, and meat alone is enough to provide the nutrients needed for optimal health. Myth 2. A high-protein diet will damage your kidneys. Another significant concern going into the study was the potential for kidney damage. The medical consensus at the time, and even today, argued that high-protein diets could overwhelm the kidneys, leading to dysfunction or long-term damage. Yet, after a full year of consuming nothing but animal products, including large amounts of protein, neither Steffanson nor Andersen showed any signs of kidney damage. Their kidney function remained normal, and they had no indications of increased strain or health problems related to protein metabolism. This finding is particularly relevant for modern-day carnivores who are constantly warned that their high-protein intake will lead to kidney issues. But Steffanson's experiment proves that these concerns are unfounded. When dietary fat intake is sufficient to meet energy demands, the body efficiently processes protein without overburdening the kidneys. In fact, the participants' kidneys appeared to adapt beautifully to the meat-based diet, suggesting that animal protein, when consumed in a proper ratio with fat, is not harmful but rather health-promoting. Myth 3. Meat-based diets will lead to heart disease. Even today, the idea that saturated fat and cholesterol cause heart disease dominates public health guidelines. With the carnivore diet being so rich in animal fats, detractors frequently argue that such a diet will inevitably raise cholesterol levels and lead to cardiovascular disease. But once again, Steffanson's trial revealed the truth. Saturated fat and cholesterol are not the villains they've been made out to be. Despite consuming a diet high in saturated animal fats, Steffanson and Anderson showed no signs of heart disease or elevated cholesterol levels throughout the study. Their blood pressure remained stable, their heart function was normal, and there was no evidence of arterial plaque buildup. These findings suggest that the true culprits behind cardiovascular disease are not animal fats but rather the inflammatory effects of carbohydrates and processed foods. In simple words, the comprehensive nature of this study provides extremely valuable insights into human nutrition. It demonstrates that an all-meat diet could supply all necessary nutrients without causing deficiencies or health complications. The inclusion of organ meats was crucial, as they are rich sources of vitamins A, D, E, K, and B complex vitamins, as well as minerals like iron and zinc. These nutrients are essential for various bodily functions, including immune response, energy production, and cellular repair. Moreover, the study highlights the role of dietary composition in health outcomes. By consuming a diet high in fats and moderate in protein, the participants achieved a state of nutritional ketosis, which has been associated with various health benefits including improved mental clarity, sustained energy levels, and reduced inflammation. Now a pinching question arises. Why was this huge truth suppressed? Why this study was banned? With such stunning results, you might wonder why this study has not been more widely discussed or referenced in modern nutrition science. The answer lies in the vested interests of big food and big pharma, two powerful industries that profit immensely from keeping people sick and dependent on processed foods and medications. The plant-based agenda, which has gained tremendous momentum in recent years, is heavily supported by these industries, as they stand to benefit from selling highly processed, grain-based, and soy-laden products under the guise of health. Consider for a moment the consequences for the pharmaceutical industry if the public embraced a carnivore diet. The demand for medications to treat chronic diseases, such as insulin for diabetes, statins for cholesterol, and blood pressure pills, would drop dramatically as people reversed their conditions through diet alone. The very existence of these industries depends on keeping people trapped in a cycle of poor health, using food products that fuel inflammation and disease while selling them the medications to manage the symptoms. Steffanson's study, had it been widely publicized, would have posed a serious threat to these industries. It validated what many of us know to be true today. A diet rich in meat, fat, and animal products is not only natural, but essential for human health. But because this truth didn't align with the profit motives of the food and pharmaceutical giants, the study was quietly brushed aside, and the plant-based narrative took center stage. But friends, wait a minute. It's not the end of the story yet. This brings us to the most crucial part of this exclusive video, moving to the present day, where a modern study conducted by researchers at Harvard has once again highlighted the benefits of a carnivorous diet. In the next section, we will compare the findings of the 1929 Steffanson trial with those of the Harvard Carnivore study, exploring how the results from both studies align and what they reveal about the potential of animal-based eating. The comparison aims to determine whether the health benefits observed in Steffanson's time are reflected in contemporary research. It also allows for a discussion on how perceptions of meat-based diets have evolved and what factors might influence public awareness and acceptance of such dietary approaches. Through this analysis, we hope to shed light on the effectiveness of the carnivore diet and contribute to an informed dialogue on our nutritional practices. But before we move ahead, we would like to know, what has been your experience on the carnivore diet so far? What health benefits have you witnessed so far? Do share your journey in the comments. And now, moving to the Harvard study comparison. The 2021 study, led by Dr. David Ludwig and a team of researchers affiliated with Harvard Medical School, represented a significant step forward in documenting the health outcomes of individuals adhering to a strict carnivore diet. Unlike previous research, which often revolved around low-carbohydrate or ketogenic diets, this study specifically targeted individuals who consumed only animal products. The aim was to gather empirical data from a large population to assess the diet's impact on various health markers, particularly in terms of metabolic health, autoimmune conditions, mental well-being, and overall physical health. The researchers employed a cross-sectional design, utilizing an online survey distributed to a population of more than 2,000 individuals who had adhered to the carnivore diet for at least 6 months. This broad sample size provided a wide range of data, with participants coming from diverse backgrounds, age groups, and health conditions. The survey was structured to capture self-reported health outcomes, including information about weight loss, blood sugar regulation, cardiovascular health, autoimmune conditions, and mental health. Participants were also encouraged to provide any laboratory data they had, allowing the researchers to supplement self-reports with objective medical markers where available. The methodology, though based on self-reported data, was valuable for a few reasons. First, the large sample size provided a robust dataset that allowed for trends to emerge across different demographics. Second, the fact that the respondents had all adhered to the diet for a significant period, a minimum of 6 months, made the results more reliable when assessing the long-term effects of the carnivore diet. Lastly, many participants had undergone medical testing, allowing the researchers to correlate self-reported health improvements with clinical outcomes. Moving on, the results of the 2021 Harvard study were nothing short of remarkable, providing substantial evidence that the carnivore diet offers widespread health benefits across a range of conditions. One of the key areas where participants reported improvements was in metabolic health. Many individuals, particularly those who had struggled with obesity, reported significant weight loss during their time on the carnivore diet. On average, participants reported losing 20 pounds, around 9 kilograms, after switching to an all-meat diet. This weight loss was often achieved without the need for calorie counting, portion control, or intense physical exercise, as the diet itself appeared to optimize the body's natural fat-burning processes by eliminating carbohydrates. The improvement in blood glucose regulation was another significant finding. Among participants diagnosed with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes before starting the carnivore diet, 84% reported that they had either dramatically reduced or entirely eliminated their need for diabetes medications, including insulin. This suggests that the carnivore diet's impact on blood sugar control is profound, enabling individuals to reverse the insulin resistance that underpins type 2 diabetes. In many cases, participants who had been battling diabetes for years found that their fasting blood glucose levels and HbA1c levels, a key marker for long-term blood sugar control, returned to normal, effectively putting their diabetes into remission. When it came to cardiovascular health, the study's findings directly contradicted the mainstream narrative that a diet rich in animal fats is harmful to heart health. Participants in the Harvard study reported significant improvements in key cardiovascular markers, including reductions in blood pressure and triglycerides. Many participants also noted an increase in their HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol that is protective against heart disease. Contrary to the common belief that LDL cholesterol levels rise dangerously on a diet high in saturated fats, the participants' LDL levels were either stable or showed minor increases, without any corresponding increase in cardiovascular events. This supports a growing body of evidence that suggests the true risk factors for heart disease are not saturated fats, but rather inflammation and metabolic dysfunction, both of which the carnivore diet appears to alleviate. The study also provided compelling evidence of the carnivore diet's anti-inflammatory properties, particularly in relation to autoimmune and inflammatory conditions. Among participants who suffered from conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, lupus, and inflammatory bowel disease, a significant number reported that their symptoms had either improved dramatically or disappeared altogether. For instance, 69% of those with inflammatory bowel disease experienced significant relief from their symptoms, with many achieving full remission. Participants with conditions like rheumatoid arthritis reported decreased joint pain and swelling, while those with skin conditions like psoriasis saw their flare-ups subside. One of the most striking findings from the Harvard study was the effect of the carnivore diet on mental health. A large proportion of participants reported that their mood disorders, such as depression and anxiety, had lessened significantly since adopting the carnivore diet. More than 60% of those who had struggled with depression stated that their symptoms had improved to the point where they no longer required medication. The improvements in mental clarity, focus, and overall cognitive function were also widely reported, with many participants noting that they felt sharper and more mentally alert than they had in years. These findings underscore the growing recognition that nutrition plays a critical role in mental health, with the carnivore diet's elimination of sugar and processed foods appearing to stabilize mood and support optimal brain function. Lastly, improvements in digestive health were among the most frequently reported benefits. Participants with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, chronic bloating, and other digestive disorders found that their symptoms resolved entirely after transitioning to the carnivore diet. Over 95% of those with IBS reported complete symptom relief, a particularly notable finding given the difficulty many individuals face in managing this condition with conventional dietary approaches.
Friends, talking about Harvard and its groundbreaking study on the carnivore diet, something really unexpected happened in 2024. The very same Harvard University took a big U-turn and changed its narrative altogether about this diet, now declaring it terrible for our health. Let's have a look. What exactly happened here?
Harvard's endorsement of the diet in 2020 seemed to mark a turning point in the world of nutrition, validating what many in the carnivore diet community had long believed, that a diet focused solely on animal products could lead us to optimal health. But friends, wait a bit. As there is always a sudden twist in every gripping story, same is the case with our carnivore saga. Just as things were looking really bright and shiny for the carnivores, an unexpected villain entered the story, with a real sinister plan to ruin it all. None of us expected this, even in our wildest dreams. But Harvard turned its own back on the carnivore diet, now declaring it terrible and harmful for our health. Yes, friends, Harvard just totally reversed its own research and findings on the carnivore diet. So what suddenly went wrong between Harvard and carnivore? What extraordinary event triggered this sudden change? Let's find out. As the carnivore diet gained further popularity following the 2020 study, it quickly became a focal point of both admiration and criticism. In response to this growing popularity, Harvard University shockingly began to release a series of new publications that starkly contrasted with the positive findings of its own earlier study. In April 2024, Harvard University published an article that reignited a sharp debate surrounding the carnivore diet. The article, titled "The Carnivore Diet, a Terrible Idea," was authored by Dr. Walter Willett, who is a highly respected figure in the fields of epidemiology and nutrition. Dr. Willett, who holds the position of Professor of Epidemiology and Nutrition at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, is known for his influential views on diet and public health. The article, released on April 5, 2024, quickly became a central piece in discussions about the potential risks and benefits of the carnivore diet. In the article, Dr. Willett presents a detailed critique of the carnivore diet, raising several concerns about its long-term health implications. He begins by outlining the fundamental principles of the diet, which restricts food intake exclusively to animal products, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, and some dairy, while excluding all plant-based foods, including fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. Dr. Willett highlights the diet's complete elimination of carbohydrates, which sets it apart from other low-carb diets like the ketogenic diet. One of Dr. Willett's primary concerns is the diet's heavy reliance on saturated fat and cholesterol, both of which are prevalent in animal products. True or not, he argues that consuming high levels of saturated fat could lead to elevated LDL cholesterol levels, traditionally associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Dr. Willett claims that, while some individuals might see short-term benefits from the carnivore diet, such as weight loss or improved metabolic markers, the potential long-term impact of consistently high saturated fat intake could be harmful to cardiovascular health. This concern is grounded in decades of research that has linked elevated LDL cholesterol with heart failures, strokes, and other cardiovascular conditions. Dr. Willett also raises the issue of nutrient deficiencies that might result from following the carnivore diet. By eliminating all plant-based foods, he says the diet excludes sources of essential nutrients that are difficult to obtain from animal products alone. He claims the diet lacks dietary fiber, which is crucial for maintaining gut health. Fiber, which is abundant in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, plays a key role in promoting healthy digestion, preventing constipation, and reducing the risk of colorectal cancer. Dr. Willett suggests that the absence of fiber in the carnivore diet could lead to gastrointestinal issues and potentially increase the risk of developing chronic conditions related to poor gut health. Furthermore, Dr. Willett expresses concern about deficiencies in vitamins and antioxidants, such as carotenoids and polyphenols, which are found exclusively in plant-based foods. These compounds have antioxidant properties that help protect cells from damage caused by free radicals, the unstable molecules that can contribute to the development of chronic diseases like cancer and type 2 diabetes. Dr. Willett argues that the lack of these protective compounds in the carnivore diet could raise the risk of chronic diseases over time. Well, friends, before giving our own opinion here, whether any of these claims is true or not, let's just hear it out first. Another significant point raised in the article is the potential impact of the carnivore diet on kidney health. Dr. Willett suggests that the diet's high protein content could place additional strain on the kidneys, particularly in individuals with pre-existing kidney conditions. The kidneys are responsible for filtering waste products from the blood, including those generated by protein metabolism. Dr. Willett cautions that a diet excessively high in protein could lead to an accumulation of these waste products, potentially increasing the risk of kidney stones and exacerbating kidney conditions. He warns that the long-term stress on the kidneys from a high-protein diet could result in impaired kidney function, especially in vulnerable populations. Dr. Willett also discusses the potential effects of the carnivore diet on bone health, arguing that the diet's exclusion of alkaline-forming foods could lead to an acidic internal environment. In response to this acidity, the body may leach calcium from the bones to neutralize it, potentially leading to a reduction in bone density over time. This process could increase the risk of osteoporosis and fractures, particularly in older adults who are already at a higher risk for bone-related conditions. Dr. Willett suggests that the long-term adoption of the carnivore diet could have serious consequences for bone health, especially in populations that are already at risk for bone loss. In addition to the health concerns, Dr. Willett touches on the environmental and ethical implications of the carnivore diet, noting the challenges associated with the industrial production of animal-based foods. He points out that the production of these foods is linked to significant environmental challenges, including greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation, and water pollution. Dr. Willett also raises ethical considerations related to the treatment of animals in industrial farming systems, suggesting that the carnivore diet is unsustainable and potentially harmful from both a health and environmental perspective. Well, friends, it's pretty hard to understand the true motive behind this publication, and Dr. Eric Westman strongly reacted to all the claims made by Dr. Willett in this report. He says it is totally hypothetical, all based on preconceived notions and false suppositions about the consumption of red meat and saturated fats. But friends, the Harvard carnivore story does not stop here. Just see what's coming next. In May 2024, another significant shift in Harvard University's stance on the carnivore diet was made public through a detailed publication that sought to cast serious doubts on the safety and long-term viability of this diet. The article, titled, "What is the Carnivore Diet and Is It Safe?" was authored by Dr. Howard E. Lewine, Maryland, who holds the position of Chief Medical Editor at Harvard Health Publishing. This publication appeared on May 8, 2024, on the Harvard Health Publishing platform, a trusted source for health information that is widely read and respected in both medical and lay circles. Dr. Lewine begins by defining the carnivore diet as a meal plan that exclusively permits the consumption of animal products such as meat, poultry, eggs, seafood, fish, and some dairy products along with water. This diet excludes all plant-based foods, including vegetables, fruits, grains, legumes, seeds, and nuts, earning it the label of a zero-carb diet. The carnivore diet is described as an extreme form of a ketogenic, or keto, diet, which is known for its low-carbohydrate, high-fat composition. The article explains that keto diets work by depriving the body of sufficient calories from glucose and other forms of sugar, forcing it to burn fat for energy. This process generates ketones, which serve as an alternative energy source, resulting in a state known as ketosis. Dr. Lewine notes that while a typical keto diet recommends that about 70% to 75% of daily calories come from fat, 20% from protein, and no more than 10% from carbohydrates, the carnivore diet takes this concept to its extreme by allowing almost no carbohydrates at all. The fat content in the carnivore diet is not specifically regulated, and it comes from the meat, fish, poultry, and dairy consumed. Dr. Lewine raises several concerns about the carnivore diet, particularly in comparison to other forms of ketogenic diets. He points out that while some keto diets may encourage the consumption of healthier fats, such as mono and polyunsaturated fats, the carnivore diet primarily relies on animal fats, which are predominantly saturated. According to Dr. Lewine, saturated fat is considered the unhealthiest type of fat because it has been shown to raise levels of LDL, low-density lipoprotein, commonly known as bad cholesterol. This increase in LDL cholesterol is a significant concern because it is traditionally linked to a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. Further, Dr. Lewine addresses the broader risks associated with ketogenic diets, particularly those that are highly restrictive like the carnivore diet. He notes that while keto diets can effectively induce weight loss by promoting fat burning, they also tend to raise LDL cholesterol levels in both the short and long term. Dr. Lewine concludes his assessment with a clear stance on the carnivore diet. Despite its potential to jumpstart weight loss due to the fat-burning effects of ketosis, he explicitly states that he would not recommend the carnivore diet for this purpose. Friends, these latest publications represent a complete departure from the optimistic view of the carnivore diet that Harvard initially presented in 2020. And this unexpected shift has raised genuine questions about the motivations behind Harvard's abrupt change in stance.
Well, friends, now that we have had a good idea of the research and scientific developments related to the carnivore diet, let's now focus on how to do carnivore the right way. Let's find out which are the lethal mistakes to avoid on our carnivore journey, ensuring extraordinary results and health outcomes.
Here are the 10 crucial mistakes which ruin the health of more than 90% carnivore followers over 50. And Dr. Ken Berry tells how to stay away from these errors, thus achieving the maximum possible benefits on our carnivore diet. So, here we go. Mistake number 1, not eating enough fat. According to Dr. Berry, one of the most frequent mistakes on the carnivore diet is not consuming enough fat. Fat is not only a primary source of energy on this diet, but also a critical nutrient for absorbing fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K. Without sufficient fat, the body struggles to enter ketosis, a state where fat is converted into ketones to provide energy. This leads to symptoms often described as low-carb flu, which include fatigue, irritability, and brain fog. People who fail to meet their fat requirements often feel drained because their bodies are deprived of both carbohydrates and an adequate alternative energy source. Studies reveal that for most people, fat should comprise between 70 to 80% of total caloric intake on a carnivore or ketovore diet. A 2016 study published in Nutritional Metabolism emphasized that diets low in fat can hinder our body's ability to metabolize energy effectively and impair absorption of essential vitamins. Furthermore, fat plays a significant role in hormone regulation. Inadequate fat intake can suppress testosterone in men and disrupt menstrual cycles in women. To avoid these issues, it's essential to prioritize fatty cuts of meat like ribeye steaks and lamb shoulder, and incorporate natural animal fats like butter and tallow into your meals. While protein is critical for muscle maintenance, without enough fat, protein will be metabolized inefficiently, which can lead to energy deficits. Tracking your fat intake during the initial weeks of the diet ensures you're meeting these energy needs, helping you avoid energy crashes and optimizing nutrient absorption. Mistake number 2. Ignoring electrolyte balance. When transitioning to the carnivore diet, a rapid drop in insulin levels triggers the kidneys to excrete sodium, leading to significant electrolyte losses. This often manifests as symptoms of the keto flu, including headaches, muscle cramps, dizziness, and fatigue. Sodium isn't the only electrolyte lost during this process. Potassium and magnesium levels can also drop, compounding these issues and increasing the risk of muscle dysfunction, irregular heart rhythms, and even long-term bone mineral depletion. Scientific studies, such as one published in Frontiers in Nutrition, highlight the critical role of electrolytes in maintaining cardiovascular health, nerve signaling, and muscle function. Sodium, for example, is essential for regulating blood volume and pressure, while magnesium supports over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. Potassium, often overlooked, plays a pivotal role in heart rhythm and muscle contraction. When these electrolytes are deficient, the body becomes vulnerable to cramps, palpitations, and fatigue, especially during physical activity. To avoid these problems, make sure to incorporate plenty of sodium into your diet by salting your food liberally with high-quality sea salt. Foods like beef heart and salmon are excellent sources of potassium, while magnesium supplements can be used if cramps or sleep disturbances persist. Staying hydrated is equally critical, as water aids in the proper distribution of these electrolytes throughout the body. Moving on. Mistake number 3. Overconsuming processed meats. One of the most dreadful things perhaps, the convenience and flavor of processed meats such as bacon, sausages, and deli cuts often tempt many carnivore dieters to rely on them as dietary staples. However, these foods are often loaded with additives like nitrates, nitrites, and hidden sugars, which can undermine the health benefits of the carnivore diet. Excessive consumption of processed meats has been strongly linked to an increased risk of colorectal cancer and other chronic diseases. A 2020 report by the World Health Organization identified processed meats as a Group 1 carcinogen, citing evidence that daily consumption of 50 grams can increase the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. Additionally, many processed meats are rich in omega-6 fatty acids, which can offset the omega-3 to omega-6 balance, potentially promoting systemic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is a known precursor to cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and autoimmune conditions, making this mistake particularly detrimental for those pursuing the anti-inflammatory benefits of the carnivore diet. To mitigate these risks, Dr. Berry suggests to focus on unprocessed whole cuts of meat such as steaks, lamb chops, and ground beef. If you occasionally consume processed meats, opt for varieties free from additives, sugars, or seed oils. By treating processed meats as an occasional indulgence rather than a dietary cornerstone, you can avoid their adverse health effects while enjoying their convenience. Mistake number 4. Neglecting organ meats. It has been observed that a common oversight among carnivore diet followers is the exclusion of organ meats from their meals. Muscle meats, while rich in protein and certain minerals, do not provide the same breadth of micronutrients found in organ meats like liver, heart, and kidney. For instance, liver is a powerhouse of nutrition, offering over 600% of the daily recommended intake of vitamin A per 100 grams. It is also an excellent source of B vitamins, iron, and copper, all of which are vital for energy production, immune function, and overall vitality. Without organ meats, followers of the carnivore diet risk deficiencies in these essential nutrients. Vitamin A deficiency, for example, can impair vision, weaken immunity, and cause skin issues, while inadequate iron levels can lead to anemia, characterized by chronic fatigue, dizziness, and reduced cognitive function. Incorporating organ meats into your weekly routine is essential for maintaining optimal health on the carnivore diet. If the taste or texture is unappealing, consider blending small amounts of liver into ground beef or using desiccated organ supplements. These options ensure you're meeting your micronutrient needs without significantly altering your palate. Mistake number 5. Wrong transition. Rapidly transitioning to the carnivore diet can overwhelm the digestive system, leading to symptoms such as bloating, diarrhea, or constipation. These issues arise because the gut microbiota, accustomed to fiber-rich diets, need time to adjust to the sudden absence of plant-based foods. Abrupt dietary shifts can also stress the liver and gallbladder as they work overtime to process increased fat intake. Gut microbiome studies indicate that significant dietary changes can take weeks or even months for full adaptation. During this period, many individuals experience discomfort that discourages them from continuing the diet. While these symptoms are temporary, they can feel discouraging and unnecessary. To ease the transition, gradually reduce carbohydrate intake over 2 to 3 weeks before fully eliminating plant foods. Adding bone broth and fermented animal products like kefir can support gut health and reduce the severity of transition-related symptoms. Staying hydrated and increasing salt intake can further alleviate these digestive challenges. Mistake number 6. Fearing saturated fats. As criminal as it could sound, decades of misinformation about saturated fats have left many carnivore dieters hesitant to consume them freely. This fear is unfounded and counterproductive, as saturated fats are critical for energy production, hormone synthesis, and cell membrane integrity. Recent studies, such as one published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, have debunked the myth that saturated fat directly causes heart disease, showing instead that it plays a vital role in maintaining overall health. Avoiding saturated fats can lead to hormonal imbalances, reduced energy levels, and poor cellular function. For instance, cholesterol, which is abundant in saturated fat, is a precursor for hormones like testosterone and estrogen. Inadequate consumption can result in low libido, mood disorders, and impaired recovery from physical activity. To fully embrace the carnivore diet, prioritize fatty cuts of meat and use animal fats like butter, tallow, and lard for cooking. These choices not only improve the taste of your meals, but also ensure you're meeting your body's fat requirements for optimal health and wellness. Moving on. Mistake number 7. Underestimating caloric intake. The satiating effects of protein and fat often lead carnivore dieters to unintentionally undereat. Over time, a chronic caloric deficit can slow metabolism, impair hormonal function, and lead to muscle loss. Research in the Journal of Endocrinology shows that insufficient calorie intake reduces thyroid hormone production, which governs metabolism, while increasing cortisol levels, which promotes fat storage. For those aiming to lose weight or improve athletic performance, maintaining adequate caloric intake is crucial. Tracking food consumption during the initial weeks of the diet can help ensure you're eating enough. Incorporating calorie-dense foods like bone marrow, egg yolks, and fatty cuts of meat is an effective strategy for meeting your energy needs. And now, moving to the final 3 on the list. Mistake number 8. Not testing for food sensitivities. While animal-based foods are generally well tolerated, some individuals experience adverse reactions to certain items like dairy or eggs. These sensitivities can manifest as bloating, skin conditions, or inflammation, hindering the benefits of the carnivore diet. A systematic elimination approach, starting with a simple diet of beef, water, and salt, can help identify potential triggers. Mistake number 9. Overlooking collagen intake. Well, friends, muscle meats dominate most carnivore diets, but neglecting collagen-rich foods can lead to joint pain, skin aging, and slower recovery from injuries. Foods like bone broth, chicken skin, and oxtail provide glycine, an amino acid that complements methionine to support collagen synthesis. Regular inclusion of these foods ensures balanced amino acid intake and supports connective tissue health. Mistake number 10. Wrong exit strategy. Finally, many carnivore dieters give up too quickly due to early discomfort or slow results. The body requires time to adapt to a new metabolic state, and initial symptoms like fatigue or digestive distress are often temporary. Committing to at least 30 to 90 days allows our body to fully adjust and experience the long-term benefits of reduced inflammation, improved energy, and enhanced mental clarity. As Dr. Berry told in one of his recent posts, by avoiding these common mistakes, we can unlock the full potential of the carnivore diet and achieve highly transformative health outcomes. Friends, the journey certainly requires patience and precision, but the rewards are well worth our time and effort.
And friends, now it's the time to know the top expert advice and methodology in order to rocket boost our results and gain the maximum possible benefits out of the carnivore diet. This includes optimal meal frequency, the correct electrolyte balance, and picking the most suitable fat-to-protein ratio. Let's have a look.
Advice number 1. Meal frequency optimization. Optimizing meal frequency is very crucial for maximizing the benefits of the carnivore diet. While traditional eating patterns often include 3 meals per day, many individuals on the carnivore diet find success with intermittent fasting or reduced meal frequency. These strategies certainly enhance fat adaptation, improve insulin sensitivity, and promote autophagy, which is a cellular cleanup process linked to longevity and reduced disease risk. Intermittent fasting involves alternating periods of eating and fasting. This eating pattern aligns with our evolutionary history, where food availability was sporadic, leading to natural periods of fasting. Intermittent fasting can be particularly effective for those on the carnivore diet, as it helps the body become more efficient at burning fat for fuel. One popular intermittent fasting schedule is the 16-8 method, which involves fasting for 16 hours and eating all meals within an 8-hour window. This typically means skipping breakfast and having the first meal around noon and the last meal around 8 p.m. A study published in Obesity found that participants following the 16-8 method experienced significant weight loss, reduced fat mass, and improved metabolic markers, including lower insulin levels and increased insulin sensitivity. Another approach is OMAD, 1 meal a day, where individuals consume all their daily calories in one large meal. This method can simplify meal planning and promote significant autophagy. Research in cell metabolism indicates that prolonged fasting periods, such as those in OMAD, can enhance cellular repair mechanisms, reduce inflammation, and improve overall metabolic health. By extending the fasting period, intermittent fasting encourages the body to utilize stored fat as a primary energy source. This is particularly beneficial on the carnivore diet, where carbohydrate intake is minimal. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that intermittent fasting could enhance fat oxidation, leading to improved energy levels and reduced fat mass. Intermittent fasting has also been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, which is crucial for metabolic health. Improved insulin sensitivity means the body can manage blood sugar levels more effectively, reducing the risk of type 2 diabetes. A review in the New England Journal of Medicine highlighted that intermittent fasting improved insulin sensitivity and reduced insulin levels, contributing to better blood glucose control. Autophagy is a process where the body removes damaged cells and regenerates new ones. Intermittent fasting has been linked to increased autophagy, which can reduce the risk of chronic diseases and promote longevity. A study in Nature showed that fasting-induced autophagy could protect against neurodegenerative diseases and enhance lifespan. While intermittent fasting offers substantial benefits, the flexibility in meal timing is essential to suit individual needs and goals. For those new to the carnivore diet or with higher caloric needs due to physical activity, more frequent, smaller, nutrient-dense meals might be beneficial. These meals can help maintain energy levels and prevent hunger, making the transition to the carnivore diet smoother. Top carnivore influencers like Dr. Tony Hampton advocate for listening to our bodies and adjusting meal timing based on personal energy levels and hunger cues. He suggests starting with a 16-8 fasting schedule and then experimenting with different fasting windows to find what works best. This flexibility allows for customization of the diet to suit different lifestyles and preferences. Research published in Circulation indicates that intermittent fasting improves our cardiovascular health by reducing blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and inflammatory markers. These improvements contribute to a lower risk of heart disease. Fasting periods can also improve mental clarity and cognitive function. A study in the Journal of Neuroscience found that intermittent fasting enhanced brain function, improved cognitive performance, and increased resistance to stress. To put it straight, adjusting meal frequency on the carnivore diet is a nuanced process that can significantly impact health outcomes. Intermittent fasting methods like the 16-8 and OMAD can really enhance our fat adaptation, improve metabolic health, and promote cellular repair through autophagy. These benefits are supported by extensive scientific research, making meal frequency adjustment a critical and highly valuable tool for those seeking to optimize their health and well-being on the carnivore diet. And now we are moving to the final two, and perhaps the most crucial game changers on our list. Advice number 2, ample hydration. Friends, proper hydration is crucial on our carnivore diet. And Dr. Shawn Baker emphasizes the importance of drinking plenty of water throughout the day. This is because our diet, which is low in carbohydrates, can lead to a natural diuretic effect. When we reduce our carbohydrate intake drastically, our bodies release stored glycogen, which is bound to water. For every gram of glycogen stored, about 3 grams of water are retained. As glycogen stores are depleted, this water is released, leading to increased urine output and, consequently, a higher risk of dehydration. Hydration is not only about water intake, but also about maintaining the balance of electrolytes in our body, which are minerals essential for various bodily functions. Electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, and magnesium play critical roles in muscle function, nerve transmission, and maintaining fluid balance within our cells. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition highlights the importance of electrolytes in preventing muscle cramps, fatigue, and other symptoms associated with electrolyte imbalances. In simple words, staying hydrated and replenishing electrolytes is fundamental on our carnivore diet. Dr. Shawn Baker's advice to drink plenty of water and generously salt our food addresses the increased risk of dehydration and electrolyte imbalances that come with carbohydrate restriction. By ensuring adequate intake of sodium, potassium, and magnesium through diet and supplementation, we can maintain optimal fluid balance, support muscle and nerve function, and prevent the adverse symptoms associated with electrolyte deficiencies. This approach not only enhances the overall health benefits of our carnivore diet, but also supports sustained well-being and performance. And finally, here is something as crucial for the beginners as for the experienced carnivores. Advice number 3, the secret of fat-to-protein ratios. Well, friends, for more experienced carnivores, adjusting fat-to-protein ratios is crucial for optimizing the benefits of the carnivore diet. Dr. Ken Berry and other top carnivore influencers emphasize this adjustment to meet individual energy needs, improve metabolic health, and enhance overall well-being. By carefully balancing these macronutrients, we can tailor our diet to achieve specific health goals and respond to our body's unique requirements. The optimal fat-to-protein ratio depends on several factors, including activity level, metabolic health, and personal goals such as weight loss or muscle gain. Generally, a higher fat intake is recommended for maintaining or increasing energy levels without relying on carbohydrates. Fat provides 9 calories per gram, compared to 4 calories per gram from protein, making it a more efficient energy source. A study published in Cell Metabolism found that a ketogenic diet with a high fat-to-protein ratio significantly improved metabolic markers, including insulin sensitivity and lipid profiles. A common starting point for many on the carnivore diet is a fat-to-protein ratio of around 2:1 by calories. This means consuming twice as many calories from fat as from protein. For instance, if we consume 2,000 calories per day, 1,333 calories should come from fat, approximately 148 grams, and 667 calories should come from protein, approximately 167 grams. This ratio ensures that fat remains the primary energy source, which is crucial for those on a low-carb or zero-carb diet. Adjusting this ratio can have profound effects on how our body utilizes nutrients and responds to the diet. Higher fat ratios, such as 3:1, may be beneficial for individuals with high energy demands or those looking to enhance mental clarity and endurance. Conversely, a slightly lower ratio, like 1.5:1, might be suitable for those aiming to build muscle while still leveraging the benefits of dietary fat. Protein is essential for our muscle maintenance and repair, especially for those engaging in regular physical activity. Consuming adequate protein helps prevent muscle loss and supports recovery. The recommended dietary allowance, RDA, for protein is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight for the average adult, but this can increase to 2.0 grams per kilogram for athletes and those looking to gain muscle. A study in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition suggests that higher protein intakes support muscle hypertrophy and strength gains, particularly when combined with resistance training. So by adjusting to the optimal fat to protein ratio, we assure you would improve and enhance your health and wellness on the carnivore diet by huge margins.
And now, friends, we move to the final and perhaps the most shocking part of this exclusive compilation video: the Nobel Prize controversy.
So, what really is bad about this year's Nobel Prize, and how it is going to literally destroy our nutrition in the days to come? Let's have a look. Well, friends, in a landmark development, the 2024 Nobel Prize in Chemistry has been awarded to David Baker from the University of Washington and Demis Hassabis with John Jumper from Google DeepMind, marking a transformative moment in the field of molecular biology. According to the Nobel Prize Committee, their work addresses two long-lasting critical challenges: the design of new proteins and the prediction of natural protein structures. David Baker, recognized for his achievements in computational protein design, has spent years perfecting methods to build proteins from scratch, proteins that do not exist in nature but can be crafted to perform highly specialized tasks. The other half of the prize acknowledges the work of Hassabis and Jumper, who developed AlphaFold 2, an artificial intelligence model that solved the decades-long problem of protein folding. The folding pattern dictates a protein's function, and predicting these structures accurately was considered one of biology's most difficult problems. In rather simple terms, proteins, which are the essential molecular machinery of our life and an integral component of the carnivore diet, govern nearly every biological function, from enzyme catalysis to immune responses. And these breakthroughs actually redefine how we understand and manipulate life's fundamental molecules, with implications that extend well beyond our imaginations. The potential applications, including medicine, biotechnology, and more importantly, food science, are so staggering that we really need to know how this enormous power will be wielded by the big corporations and what untold consequences it would bring to us all. As we move deep into this exclusive video, we'll untangle all these crucial questions in a proper scientific manner, all based on accurate facts with logical reasoning. The stakes are really high for us, and the answers are not as straightforward as they may seem to be. So watch with all your attention and concentration, as none of this vital info is available anywhere else on YouTube. The real story is about to begin. Friends, before revealing the true motive of Big Food and Big Pharma related to these award-winning developments, it is important for us to first understand the real purpose and science behind these research initiatives. Let's begin with decoding the Nobel Prize, what really was the problem at hand, and what eventually came out. As we all know, proteins are the essential molecules in our body that carry out virtually all biological functions, facilitating metabolism, immune response, energy production, and cell communication. However, understanding and manipulating these complex structures has remained one of the most difficult challenges in molecular biology. A protein's function is dictated entirely by how it folds into a precise three-dimensional shape, but predicting this shape from its amino acid sequence has eluded scientists for decades. This difficulty is known as the protein folding problem, first formulated in the 1970s. Despite advances in experimental techniques such as X-ray crystallography and nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, solving the structure of proteins remained a slow and resource-heavy process. Each protein required dedicated work that could take months or years, thus hampering scientific progress, particularly in areas like medicine discovery and enzyme engineering. Alongside the challenge of understanding natural protein structures, researchers also faced the limitation of biological evolution. Natural proteins are the result of millions of years of evolutionary fine-tuning, optimized for the survival needs of specific organisms. However, the functions needed for modern medical and industrial purposes often require new types of proteins, molecules that do not exist in nature. Designing these proteins from scratch presented enormous technical hurdles. Without the ability to accurately predict how sequences would fold, it was difficult to create proteins with desired functions. This dual challenge, predicting protein structures and designing functional proteins, represented a major bottleneck for biotechnology, medicine, and other scientific branches. In response to these challenges, scientists pursued two parallel paths: improving protein design algorithms to create new proteins from scratch, and developing predictive tools to unlock the structures of natural proteins faster and with greater precision. These efforts culminated in the breakthroughs that earned the 2024 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Now, the obvious question that comes to mind is that how are these magnificent scientific developments a threat to the carnivore diet, or in simpler terms, the proper human diet and nutrition? Well, we certainly are going to describe this, but for that, we need to know these details discussed ahead. Solving the almost impossible design problem with computational protein engineering. Well, friends, Dr. David Baker's controversial yet groundbreaking work addresses the challenge of de novo protein design, the ability to create new proteins from scratch for specific applications. His lab developed Rosetta, a pioneering computational platform that simulates how amino acid sequences fold into stable, functional structures. This tool has evolved over the past 2 decades into one of the most powerful resources for protein engineering, allowing researchers to bypass the limitations of natural proteins and create entirely new molecules. Baker's team demonstrated that proteins could be designed to carry out highly specialized tasks, such as functioning as enzymes that break down environmental pollutants or molecular sensors capable of detecting disease markers. A particularly noteworthy achievement is the creation of a synthetic medicine for respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, the first de novo designed medication to enter clinical trials. This development highlights the transformative potential of custom protein design in the field of medicine, paving the way for more effective and precise therapeutics. Beyond medicine, Baker's designs extend into fields like nanotechnology and green chemistry. His lab has produced enzymes that can break down plastics and materials with enhanced properties for use in industry. The power of computational design lies in its ability to solve problems faster and more accurately than traditional trial and error methods, reducing reliance on natural proteins and expanding the toolkit available to scientists and engineers. Moving to the other half, solving the protein folding problem with AlphaFold 2. While Baker tackled the design problem, Demis Hassabis and John Jumper of Google DeepMind confronted the protein folding problem, a puzzle that had frustrated biologists for over 50 years. AlphaFold 2, their deep learning-based AI model, achieved what many believed was impossible, accurately predicting the 3-dimensional structure of proteins directly from their amino acid sequences. This feat was made possible through neural networks trained on large datasets of protein sequences and structures, combined with advanced optimization techniques to generate predictions with atomic-level accuracy. According to the developers, AlphaFold 2's impact has been really profound. Since its release in 2020, the system has solved the structures of more than 200 million proteins, providing researchers with insights that would have taken decades to uncover using experimental methods. Scientists have used AlphaFold 2 to study antibiotic resistance mechanisms, model viral proteins, and develop new enzymes for industrial applications. Its open-access model has democratized protein research, making these insights available to millions of researchers worldwide across 190 countries. The predictive power of AlphaFold 2 has revolutionized several scientific fields. In medicine, it accelerates medication discovery by revealing the exact structure of target proteins, allowing for the design of more effective medications. In materials science, it enables the development of custom enzymes for sustainable chemical processes. By solving the protein folding problem, Hassabis and Jumper have provided a tool that streamlines research and innovation across numerous disciplines. Together, the work of Baker and the DeepMind team represents a paradigm shift in molecular biology. With the ability to design new proteins from scratch and predict the structures of natural proteins with precision, scientists apparently now have tools that dramatically expand the frontiers of biotechnology. These breakthroughs promise to revolutionize medicine development, industrial bioprocesses, and environmental science by providing faster, more effective solutions to previously intractable problems. However, as these technologies mature, they raise new unanswered questions. Although the custom-designed proteins and AI-predicted structures offer incredible potential, but they also pose a risk to our biological system, taking it to the level of man versus nature. So, how will these new proteins behave over time? What are the unforeseen risks associated with engineering molecules that do not exist in nature? And most importantly for us, how these artificial new proteins are going to affect our dietary health and nutrition. As we unfold the details further, this is where it gets crucial for us all, following the diet plans with proteins as an integral part of the whole picture. But before revealing the adverse impact of these developments on our food and nutrition, let's have a brief look at some other associated aspects and benefits of the award-winning research. Transforming medicine, precision therapies with engineered proteins. Friends, according to the researchers, medicine is one of the primary fields poised to benefit from these breakthroughs. Traditional treatments often rely on broad-spectrum pharmaceuticals that impact healthy and diseased cells alike, leading to side effects and reduced efficacy. With the ability to design targeted protein-based therapies, researchers can now develop precision treatments that interact only with specific biological pathways, minimizing unintended effects and improving outcomes. For example, synthetic antibodies, proteins engineered to bind precisely to disease-related molecules, offer promising new approaches to treating cancers and autoimmune disorders. David Baker's lab has also developed customized immune activators designed to trigger precise immune responses against specific pathogens, including an experimental therapy for respiratory syncytial virus, RSV. These tailored protein treatments are unencumbered by evolutionary constraints, marking the dawn of a new class of highly specialized medical interventions. Plus, AlphaFold 2's predictive capabilities have accelerated the development of therapies by providing accurate models of disease-relevant proteins. This insight enables researchers to identify new therapeutic targets more rapidly, especially in cases where conventional methods would take years. A prominent application involves modeling antibiotic resistance proteins, helping scientists develop new treatments that overcome bacterial resistance, which is one of the most urgent challenges in modern healthcare. Next, revolutionizing industry, green chemistry, and environmental solutions. Friends, the implications of these breakthroughs extend beyond healthcare, reshaping industrial biotechnology and green chemistry. Enzymes, which catalyze essential chemical reactions, play a crucial role in numerous industries. However, natural enzymes often come with limitations in efficiency and stability. Baker's work on synthetic enzymes eliminates these constraints, enabling the creation of highly efficient catalysts tailored for specific industrial processes. Apparently, one of the most promising applications is the development of enzymes capable of degrading plastics, offering a potential solution to the global plastic waste crisis. These custom-designed proteins can break down plastic molecules at a molecular level, creating opportunities for sustainable recycling systems. Additionally, synthetic enzymes are being employed in biofuel production, enhancing the efficiency of converting biomass into fuel and accelerating the transition toward renewable energy sources. AlphaFold 2 has also facilitated the optimization of industrial enzymes by providing precise models of their structures. This insight allows companies to fine-tune catalysts for pharmaceutical manufacturing, agriculture, and other fields, improving efficiency while minimizing environmental impact. The result is a new generation of sustainable industrial processes that rely less on harmful chemicals and more on biological catalysts tailored for green chemistry. Next up, we will explore how these developments are beginning to severely influence the food science and nutrition. What are the top health risks associated, particularly for those of us following high-fat, high-protein diet plans like keto and carnivore, where the tension between natural and synthetic solutions is already becoming increasingly significant? But before moving ahead, we would like to know which diet plan you are currently following: carnivore, keto, or some other. And what health conditions have you healed so far? Do share your experience in the comments. The severe food and nutrition implications. Well, friends, the 2024 Nobel Prize in Chemistry, awarded for advancements in new protein design, marks a pivotal moment in science, allowing scientists to precisely design proteins with unprecedented accuracy, reshaping fields from medicine to food science. While this achievement has a mighty transformative potential, it also opens the door to unsettling developments related to synthetic food production. Companies, notably Upside Foods and Savor, both backed by Bill Gates, are applying these innovations to create lab-grown meat and artificial butter. Though these projects are marketed as sustainable solutions to reduce environmental impact, They also present a hidden danger: the gradual elimination of natural animal-based foods from our diets. This shift risks depriving people of the essential nutrients found in real meat and butter, critical elements for high-fat, high-protein diets such as the carnivore diet, which many individuals follow to optimize health and wellness. While the scientific world celebrates the creation of synthetic proteins, these technologies are aimed to ultimately drive consumers away from nutrient-rich natural foods. Lab-grown meat and artificial fats are touted as replacements for red meat and animal butter, but in reality, they are nutritionally far inferior and could lead to severe long-term health consequences. A deeper examination of how these synthetic products are made and how they compare to their natural counterparts reveals significant cause for concern. Lab-grown meat, a poor substitute for nutrient-dense red meat. The concept of lab-grown meat originated from research in tissue engineering, aiming to replicate animal muscle tissue outside of the body. The process begins by extracting stem cells, or muscle precursor cells, from a living animal. These cells are placed in a nutrient-rich culture medium, where they multiply and form muscle fibers. The medium typically contains a blend of amino acids, glucose, minerals, vitamins, and growth factors. Early versions of this technology required fetal bovine serum, FBS, a substance derived from the blood of unborn calves, to stimulate cell growth, although companies are now working to replace FBS with plant-based alternatives. In bioreactors, the muscle cells are exposed to hormonal and chemical signals that trigger them to differentiate into muscle fibers. These fibers are grown on scaffolds to mimic the texture of natural meat. However, the final product is essentially a collection of cells without the complex network of tissues, connective elements, and fats that give real red meat its unique nutritional profile. Natural red meat, particularly beef, lamb, and organ meats, contains a wealth of essential nutrients that lab-grown meat cannot replicate. These include heme iron, which is highly bioavailable and critical for preventing iron deficiency, vitamin B12, vital for brain and nerve function, and omega-3 fatty acids, which play a role in cardiovascular health. Red meat also provides a complete profile of essential amino acids, creatine, and carnitine, which are necessary for muscle function and energy metabolism. In contrast, lab-grown meat lacks many of these nutrients or provides them in forms that may not be as bioavailable. While synthetic meat can offer protein, it may fall short in essential micronutrients such as zinc, selenium, and fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, that are found abundantly in natural animal meat. Additionally, the long-term effects of consuming lab-grown meat remain largely untested. Some experts express concern that this engineered product could alter gut microbiota, increasing the risk of metabolic and immune disorders over time. Consumers drawn to lab-grown meat for its environmental promise may unknowingly sacrifice their health. The carnivore diet, which relies heavily on nutrient-dense animal products, demonstrates the profound benefits of a high-fat, high-protein diet. Many followers report improvements in metabolic health, mental clarity, and reduced inflammation. Replacing these whole foods with synthetic alternatives poses a direct threat to those seeking optimal health through natural nutrition. Similar to the synthetic meat, artificial butter from air, a nutritional and chemical mirage. In a parallel effort to replace traditional animal fats, companies such as Savor, also backed by Bill Gates, are developing artificial butter using carbon capture technologies. This innovative process involves transforming carbon dioxide, CO2, hydrogen, and oxygen into synthetic fats through a combination of thermochemical reactions. While this process might sound like a scientific marvel, it raises serious concerns about nutritional adequacy and long-term health risks. Natural animal butter, derived from milk, contains far more than just fat. It is a rich source of conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, a unique fatty acid with proven anti-inflammatory properties and potential benefits for fat loss. Butter also contains essential fat-soluble vitamins, such as vitamin A, which supports vision and immune function, vitamin D, crucial for calcium absorption and bone health, and vitamin K2, which plays a role in cardiovascular health by preventing arterial calcification. These nutrients exist in perfect synergy within natural butter, promoting efficient absorption and optimal health. In contrast, artificial butter lacks these complex nutritional benefits. While it may replicate the taste and texture of real butter, it offers little more than empty calories. The synthetic fats produced from carbon capture are stripped of the essential bioactive compounds found in natural animal fats. Furthermore, the long-term effects of consuming chemically engineered fats are unknown. The introduction of such products into the food supply could alter cholesterol metabolism, hormone regulation, and immune responses, leading to unforeseen health complications in the years to come. Replacing natural butter with a synthetic alternative also undermines the principles of nutritional freedom and dietary autonomy. Diets that emphasize animal-based fats, such as the carnivore diet and ketogenic diet, have shown profound health benefits, including improved insulin sensitivity, cognitive function, and cardiovascular health. Artificial butter, however, offers no comparable benefits and represents a step backward in nutritional quality. To put it simple, the movement toward lab-grown meat and artificial fats is accelerating, with venture capital giants and high-profile investors like Bill Gates pushing the development of these products. While such developments could reduce the carbon footprint of livestock agriculture, they introduce some profound questions for our health and wellness, which are eventually the game changer. And finally, moving to the most important section of the video, we are going to reveal the major health risks associated with the consumption of synthetic proteins and fats. The mighty health risks. Well, friends, the risks posed by synthetic foods, especially those derived from engineered proteins and fats, extend far beyond the superficial concerns of novelty. While these innovations are marketed under the promise of sustainability and progress, they carry serious health risks that remain largely untested. As synthetic alternatives begin to replace traditional sources of nutrition, the long-term impact on human health and biological well-being raises urgent and critical questions. Relying on lab-grown foods and artificial proteins threatens to disrupt metabolic balance, immune function, and nutrient absorption in ways that could cause profound, irreversible damage over time. One of the most immediate concerns revolves around the issue of nutrient bioavailability, the extent to which nutrients are absorbed and utilized by the body. Natural animal products, such as meat, fish, and dairy, provide essential nutrients in bioavailable forms, including heme iron, vitamin B12, long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, and complete amino acid profiles. These nutrients play irreplaceable roles in cellular metabolism, brain function, and immune health. Attempts to replicate these profiles in lab-grown meat or artificial butter face significant limitations. Even if the chemical structure of synthetic proteins mimics that of their natural counterparts, the complex synergies between nutrients present in real foods are exceedingly difficult to replicate in artificial systems. Replacing real animal-based proteins with synthetic ones risks introducing metabolic inefficiencies. The human digestive system has evolved over millennia to process and absorb nutrients from natural foods with remarkable efficiency. Introducing synthetic proteins or lab-grown alternatives could disrupt gut microbiota, the complex ecosystem of microorganisms essential for digestion, immunity, and hormonal balance. Disruptions to this microbiota have been linked to autoimmune disorders, metabolic syndromes, and chronic inflammation, conditions already on the rise in modern societies. Long-term reliance on artificial foods without fully understanding their effects on gut health could exacerbate these conditions and create new, unpredictable health risks. The long-term health impact of consuming synthetic fats is another area of serious concern. Fats derived from carbon capture processes, such as the artificial butter developed by Savor, may replicate the taste and texture of natural fats, but there is no comprehensive understanding of their metabolic behavior. Natural fats, particularly those from animal sources, contain bioactive compounds like CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, and phospholipids that support heart health, immune function, and brain development. Synthetic fats are unlikely to carry these same benefits, and consuming them as a substitute for natural fats could disrupt lipid metabolism, increase the risk of inflammatory diseases, and impair brain function over time. The commercialization of synthetic proteins also presents a monopolization risk. If key technologies, such as those used in precision fermentation and cultivated meat production, remain under corporate control, it could limit public access to nutrient-dense natural foods, consolidating power within a small group of companies. This monopolization of food systems raises the possibility that decisions about what we eat will be dictated by profit motives rather than health priorities. further undermining our individual autonomy and dietary freedom. Friends, in simple words, the 2024 Nobel Prize in Chemistry recognizes a monumental achievement in protein design. But the practical application of this technology in synthetic foods raises serious concerns. The widespread adoption of lab-grown meat and artificial butter threatens to displace natural animal products from the food system, depriving consumers of essential nutrients that are critical for health and longevity. This shift also risks eroding cultural and dietary diversity, as many cuisines rely heavily on real meat and animal fats. The environmental narrative surrounding synthetic foods may obscure the hidden costs to human health. Governments and corporations, incentivized by sustainability goals, could push lab-grown alternatives through regulatory frameworks and economic pressure, making real meat and butter harder to access. If these trends continue, future generations may find themselves trapped in a food system dominated by engineered products with inferior nutritional value. As exciting as the advances in protein design may be, blindly adopting synthetic foods without considering their long-term health implications would be a grave mistake. Nutritional science tells us that whole, natural foods provide irreplaceable benefits that cannot be replicated in a lab. To preserve health, wellness, and dietary freedom, it is essential to push back against the marginalization of real foods and demand transparency in how new technologies are applied in the food industry.
So friends, this was the compilation of most impactful carnivore videos on our channel this year. And we really hope that you make the maximum benefit out of this exclusive information we shared today. By the way, what is your opinion about the carnivore diet? How would you rate your experience so far? And what health benefits have you gained so far? Do share your journey in the comments. Press the like button if you found this video helpful, and share it with your friends and family as well. Subscribe now to our channel to be a proud member of our vibrant carnivore community, having access to all the vital knowledge you need for your long-term health and wellness. And did you know? There are some historic facts about saturated fat consumption, which you are not aware of. Click the video showing up on the screen to find that out. See you there.